This tutorial, I'm going to show you how to generate a low poly hammer using the Blender Python API and then display it on any website using the model viewer component. Before we begin, I want to tell you that I do a live stream every single day at 2 p.m. Eastern. Visit ojambo.com and go to any article, upcoming article to show you, for example, that you're free to join the live chat and post any programming or lifestyle topics. As you can see here is a direct link to the live chat and also live stream. So you can also watch the video that way. The video is also embedded in the article. I'll scroll down later and you can see it as well. And also be sure to subscribe, like, follow, and leave comments for not just more frequent content, but also to help the channel grow and so other people can share this information tutorial. I'd like to thank everybody who subscribed so far this month. It really helps the channel grow. Keep it up. Thanks again. And let's get started with the tutorial today. So I finally had time to set up. I'm actually using Droid Cam, so the quality of the video should be better. I would also like to use something else. The reason is because I would like to sometimes in the future to do some reviews using the phone, so that I don't have to do it manually. So maybe there's an application I can use which will help me do both. At least maybe mute the video, the webcam, the Droid Cam feature, so I can also embed the screencasting there. But let's continue. So 3D hammer. So we're going to use Blender Python API. I'm using Blender 4.5. That's the latest long-term support release, at least at the time of the recording of this video. And we're going to make it more beginner-friendly. And as I already said, we're going to use the model viewer. That's a web component. And so to generate the hammer model, it's very simple. I have the script here as well. So you can take the script, you open up Blender, then you go to the Blender scripting tag. You can just paste it in there. It will draw everything and you can export. I'll show you all that when you open up Blender later today. And then because we're going to use Blender to generate everything, simply this is a command. It's Blender space -- background space -- Python space and then the name of your Python script. You can also do the short form. So instead of -- background, it will be -b. And instead of -- Python is -p, capital P. And there we go. That'll run the script. And then again, and then we have a code snippet here that you can run inside the HTML file. And then you will be able to display the model and control it. For example, you can rotate it. I'll show you all that as well. Okay, so let's actually get started here. I'll show you the screencast later. The screenshots and the screencast later, as I promised. So you see you have two files. One is the lowpoly.py. That's a Python file. This is the HTML. So let's open this both up. I'm gonna use the GNOME text editor. It's very, very simple. Let me zoom in here. Where can I zoom in? There we go. So zoom in. So as usual, just import the Python object or module. I'm using bmesh. I'm also going to import the vector for the math details, and I'm going to import the OS. The OS is needed so that because I want to save everything relative to where the Python file is. So that's why I'm using the OS. So depending on what operating system you have, well, it could be Mac OS, it could be Linux, or it could be Windows. I want to save it, I said relative to where the Python file is. So it's just like here. So it's going to save it right in here. And one more file I haven't opened up. You see it's an HDR. This is the courtyard. That's what I use. So it's going to use the lighting from the HDR image. If you don't know what that means, that basically means that, for example, this is the courtyard. So I believe the courtyard has maybe some buildings. So it has a sunny light and some reflections. So all that will display in our on our hammer. I'll show you that in a second as well. You can also use others. For example, there's forest, but I just use the courtyard. I was just lazy. So by default, Blender creates them as EXR images. but I decided to convert it to HDR because that's more not cross-platform but cross-browser compatible. So for example, this HDR, I'll open this up right now just so that I don't have to do it later. So I'm going to open up with GIMP because GIMP will show it to you. Where's GIMP here? I guess I'll type GIMP. Yeah, there we go. Open up with GIMP, or the GIMP. The GIMP is the GNU image manipulation program. You see here, this is the HDR image. So you see here, there's it looks like it's like some type of a garage, I don't know, a cafe or something. And then you see there's a dog here as well. So you can see there's light, there's dark. So by rotating or moving our image, we'll be able to pick up this light. So it will light up our or reflect our object, which is the hammer. Okay, so that's it. Let's go back here. Yeah, so the first thing I do is I clear all the objects. So we use the Blender Python object, the OPS object, select all, so select all, and then we'll delete all of them. The reason we do this is because as of right now, 2025, the time we're recording this tutorial, Blender by default comes with a default cube, default light, and a default camera. We don't need any of those. And also in the future, they might come with something different or might come with nothing. So the reason I delete them is so that this tutorial can be future-proof. So people can follow along in the future. You might have to change maybe the Python or some things might be deprecated, but the thing is it will still work. So I created a method here or function to create our materials. So it will take in a name as argument, a base color, and if a metallic value is not provided, it will default to 0, and roughness is not provided, it will default to 0.5. So we see we'll create the matte material here by data.materials_new, and we pass the name there, and then we use nodes. In the past, Blender did not use nodes, so you always had to put use nodes equals true. So I believe now it's by default they're moving more to a node-based system, but it's also a good idea to this because some people might be using a node version of Blender for so this is or in the future Blender might change again, so it's a good idea to set to true. Then we get the principled BSDF, and then with the input, the base color will be the color the color that was passed in as an argument. The metallic value will be the value passed in, or to use the default value, same with the roughness, and then return the matte material. The reason we created a method here is because we're going to do this a few times. We need to create one for the head, hammer head, and one for the body. So it's a good idea. Somebody actually requested that I have more object-oriented Python programming, so here you go. Hope you like it. And then for wood material, you see we just use that method, and you see we pass in our color and the rough metallic and roughness. You see it's different from the default ones. And then for the metal material, we do the same thing. We call it metal, and we pass in the color and the metallic value, and because we want it metal, the metallic value is set to 0.1, and the roughness we set it lower because we don't want it. We want it to be more metallic looking. So roughness will make it more glossy, so we want that to be less than the wood one. And you can see here, Blender uses radians, basically 0 to 1 value. So for example, if you want to pass in RGB colors, you have to pass them in as representation of between 0 and 1 instead of saying, for example, 0 to 255 or 0 to 128. And then the last value here is the alpha state. You see they all set to 1. That means it's going to be 100% opaque, meaning that it's going to be, you're going to be able to see it. Okay, and then we create the handle. The handle, we just use a cylinder, mesh cylinder here, and then we give it a location, and we give it a radius of 0.1, depth of 2, the location is 001, and then we give it the name will be handle, and then we pass in a wood material. See how simple that is? We're done with the handle for our hammer. And then for the head, we use a cube. You see we set the size to 0.5, the location is minus 0.1, 0, and 1.7. So we're going to put it on top of our handle, but not right at the top. We're going to put it down to make it look like a hammer, so a little bit of the handle also shows up at the top. And then we call the name head, and then we pass in the metal material. And then after that, what we do is we're going to combine them. So we go to the edit mode here for the head. The head we don't want it to be a perfect rectangle or a perfect square. So we want to resize it a little bit. So one size is a little bit thinner or narrower than the front. The front. So that will give it a little claw, type shape. Okay, then so as you can see, we use vertices, and we just resize them on the z-axis here. And then after that, we update the head, and then we bevel it, offset 0.05, segments 4, profile 1, and then after that, we slightly rotate it as well. So it's not perfectly flat. Again, we just rotate a little bit because that's usually how a hammer is. It's just slight little rotation, and we set it to 0.1 on the y-axis. Then we select both the head and the handle, and then what we do is we join them. You see here with object.join, and then after that we save our blend file. We have the path, so you see we use // slash means it's going to be relative to, again, where the Python file. If you don't do that, by default it's going to put it in your home folder. I don't want to do that because I said I want to keep it relative. So you see we use ops.wm .save _ as _ main file, and then the path to our blend save path. Then we do something similar for our GLB file. The GBL file, you see here we have the absolute path // and then that's the name of the file, and then we use the ops.export _ scene.gltf. So gltf is it's actually a JSON format. There's actually 3 types for Blender. You can use the gltf, which is simply just a JSON format, just text. You can also do the gltf, where if you have any materials, they will embed them. So it's going to be a much bigger JSON file. Or you can use GLB. GLB is just the binary version. So binary version, that's what I do here. The reason I don't want to save it as a text file is because when the text file gets very, very big, sometimes it can get corrupted. Maybe when you're moving around or something didn't save properly, so I prefer to use the binary file here. That's because I'm not going to look at it anyway. So this is a very simple one. So I could probably have used gltf as the JSON file, but I decided just use the binary. And you see, we just put export _ apply equals true, and export _ materials export. So we want to export the materials as well, because remember we do have 2 materials. One is for the hammer, and the one is for the wooden texture. So metal texture and sorry, I apologize. The metal material and the wood material. So that's it. And then we will export this on the command line. But before I do that, I want to show you the HTML. So HTML is very, very simple. You have your doc type, then HTML, and then I put chasset here. I don't need this 2 here. But I'm on. If you're in Windows, you might need to do that. For the chasset, I said I'm using Fedora Linux, so that's UTF-8 by default. If you're using any POSX type system, they're UTF-8 by default. That means BSDs, Unix, Mac OS, all Linux type systems. They all use UTF-8 by default. And then I put this viewport here. This is so that I can also view it in the web browser without having to zoom in. So you see I set the width to the device width and initial scale to 1. This is just a title. And then the script. This is very important. This is a module. So this will load the module from unpack.org. You see we're going to get the model viewer. It was I also used the minified version. You don't need any styling here. You can actually ignore this. This is because I want to make it. I do like this little background, so that's why I did that. And then here we have this. I put an H1 tag here, which is to I just say low poly hammer, and then below that it's our model viewer. So this is the model hyphen viewer. That's the component, the source, which will be the GLB file. And then after that, you see we have the low poly hammer. That's the alt tag, and you see it's auto rotate, so automatically rotate. We have camera controls. We have the AR, and then we have shadow intensity set to 1. And you see we're using environmental hyphen image, and that will be our courtyard .hdr. Okay, so with this, you can simply run this on the command line, and I'll prove that to you. So we simply go. I'm going to open up the console here. Oh, I think I already have the console open. If I remember, did I have the console? No, okay, I did not have console open. So I'll open up the terminal here. Okay, zoom in. Let me clean this up. Okay, and then all you do is you type Blender space -B for background -P with capital P, then low -poly -hammer.py, and press enter, and you see what's going to see. It tells you I'm using Blender 4.5.3. LTS stands for long term support release, and you can see saved the blend file, and it finished exporting the GLTF 2.0, and you see it did all this in 0.01 second. So that's 1 millisecond. I believe that's 1 millisecond. See how quickly that was. All right. So with that said, and you see it's created it exported the GLB file, and also it created this Blender file. So let's open up this Blender file, and you can see the hammer is here. Zoom in. You see that's a hammer, and let me go to the shading tab here. Okay, here you see. This is what I was trying to say. You see how the handle goes a little bit above, and if I rotate this, you can see that you see the hammer is slightly rotated downward, and you can see it's actually smaller here than it is here. So I could have gone bigger here and curve it more, but I want to make it nice and simple. So that's our hammer, very simple. So if we go here, you can also go to the, where can I click? Oh, it's already here. You can also go shading here. You see the shading here, this actually uses the forest. So it looks slightly different depending on what type of HDR image, and you can see the, because this is the one we've highlighted, you see it's the BSD, that's for the, obviously for the wood texture. This should be another texture as well. Because I combined them, I joined them, so it's not showing, but there's another one which was for the head section. So that's obviously using something different. So let's go to the scripting tab. So here in the scripting tab, you can simply just copy and paste. So you click new, and then you can paste the script here, and it will also generate the same thing, and you save the file as well. And then when you're done, it should export automatically. Everything's doing Blender, but if you want to do it manually, let's go back to layout. What you go is you go to file, and you see export, and you see export, it says GLTF 2.0. So you click that, you see there's a .glb and /.gltf. So you click on that, and then let me see if make sure people in vertical screens can see this. You see here by default it's set to binary. That's because I saved the file, but you see you can also do a separate. You see GLTF plus bin files. And then you can also put a copyright here. There are more options you have, and then you can see here these are the default ones. You see what I'm saying is you can enable or disable some of this when you're exporting. You see you can also bake and merge. So baking could be like if you created some procedural textures, you clearly want to bake those, so they are more they bake into the they bake onto the onto your object or your 3D model, and it will be easier than having to, because right now I believe in 2025, GLTF does not have nodes for procedural textures. It doesn't have a procedural texture node, so it's better to bake them. As of right now, 2025. Maybe in the future they will have that option. Okay, so that's it right there. And let's exit here, so I don't need to save anything. And then here you can simply just drag this into your web browser, because remember we're using a CDN for the model viewer. So what you need to do is, let me go back here to the command line. So what you need to do is you need to you need to put this on an actual web server. So you can use, for example, Apache, Nginx, anything that has HTML, any HTTP web server. So I can also use the built-in ones. For example, I can use PHP, but I'm not going to use PHP because we're using Python. So I'll use the Python one. I'll just use a simple Python one. So I'll just type Python here, space -m. You can use a simple HTTP server. I'm just going to use http.server, and then type in 8080 for the port number I want to use. Okay, so I did that, and you see it says 000 port 8080. So the 000 is very important, because that means that I can use localhost. I can use 127.0.0.1, then obviously port 8080, and that also means that I can also grab this from for example, the phone. I can also do the same thing, going to port, whatever the IP address is for this workstation. Okay, so with that said, let me open up the Chromium browser, and we go here, and I just type 127, and it was 8080 colon. Sorry, it's 127.0.0.1 colon 8080 / low -poly -hammer.html. There you go, that's our hammer. And you can see, this is what I was trying to say. I'm putting it here, it's going to auto rotate. You can see that it's clearly slightly angled and slightly rotated, if you will. And you can see that it's also much bigger in the front and than it is in the back, so to give it that little claw look. And as you can see here, it's clearly using the HDR image. So the HDR image, you guys saw me, I didn't put any lights, right? I didn't put any lights. I used the HDR image because it has fantastic lighting. Now, obviously this is supposed to look metal. It's still looking a little slightly wooden, but that's because of the way the HDR image. Now I said if I use the forest image, it'll be better, or if I rotate this somewhere, I could probably get it exactly the way I want, but I'm pretty happy with this. It looks, yeah, so we go, you can see there, this clearly looks, right now this looks obviously more metal, and you see the wood still looks wooden, and that's the idea. So this is what I was trying to tell you. I was trying to get it so that the handle goes a little bit above the head, so it looks more realistic as well. So as you can see here, because this is the head, that's usually how a hammer is. The handle goes just a little bit above. So normally what happens is the handles break, and then you get a new handle, or you can make the hammer shorter by putting it in the. So basically, normally what happens is it will break somewhere here, and then what you do is you pop the broken handle out, and then you just put it back down there. This is, now you guys learned something as well. This is one of the reasons why handles for hammers, the wooden ones, are usually very, very long, because it's expected that they will break, and then you just take the head and put it into the rest of the handle. So as you can see here, we can rotate. You see here, that looks way more metallic. There we go again, and the wood still looks wooden. That's pretty good. So if you actually rotate this somewhere or move it, you might actually see the dog, and you might actually see some of the reflections of the that HDR image I showed you guys earlier. I was actually able to rotate in a special in a way, and I was able to actually see it was able to reflect the dog. But there we go. So as I said, you can rotate it so many ways. You can see there. I say it's low poly. You guys saw how many polygons that use. Very, very few. So why would you need low poly stuff? For example, maybe you're making games, or you want something simple. Like I was explaining, like for example, in the past, there's a website I work with, olibate.com, where they wanted like some 3D, it's something similar to this. You see this rotating. What they wanted was a model of a shoe, and then they wanted the images. So and then, for example, if you're a customer, you want a shoe, maybe you want like a size 13 or size 10, whatever you want. You'll be able to see what the shoe looks like at different sizes or different colors. That is something, the technology wasn't ready. This was just pre-pandemic. The technology wasn't quite ready then. I could have jimmied something together, but it would have been way too slow. But these days, even on the phones and the most mid-range, like desktop computer, even the integrated graphics, they're extremely impressive. For example, right now, what you guys are seeing right now, me doing this is all on the integrated graphics, not using the dedicated graphics. So what I'm saying is that technology has moved so much in the past 7 years that it's now possible to do things like this with very, very low effort. As you can see here, this is very low poly. I could spend some more time making it even better. What I'm saying is just to show you how simple and easy it is to do something like this. Okay. So I forgot to show you guys. So you see my hands here. You see it's rotating by itself. You can see both of my hands here, and you see it's rotating all by itself. I'm not doing anything at all. It's rotating by itself. So that's the auto rotating. And when you do, hope you guys can use HDR image as well. The HDR image, I didn't create them. I said I just copied the one from Blender. I've shown you how to do that in the past. All right, let's finish this up. So these are the screenshots. As you can see, I took screenshots from Blender. Just paste the code in here and press the run button. It will generate the model and save the blend file and export the GLB for you. And then you can simply run that into your favorite web browser. And this is the video. I was telling you this is the video is embedded. It's live. Save the blend file. And there we go. So you can see. So some additional resources and learning. If you're excited to learn more, I have authored books, 2 books especially, that can help you deepen your Python and Blender scripting skills. I have a book called Learning Python, a comprehensive beginner's guide to Python programming. It's available on Amazon. The link is also in the description. I also have another one called Mastering Blender Python API. That's a deep dive into scripting Blender and Python. For example, it's not just 3D models. You can also do video stuff. You can create your own add-ons, your own extensions. That's all in the book. Both of these books are on Amazon. The links are also in the description. There's also ebook versions of both books. And also, if you can check out my Learning Python course available on jamboshop.com. It's an online course where you can learn. It comes with its own web IDE, so you can learn at your own pace. And if that's not enough, for more personalized guidance, I offer one-on-one Python tutorials, including Blender scripting. You can reach out to me at ojambo.com/contact. Okay, so let's finish up here. The conclusion: by combining Blender's Python API with modern web technologies like the model viewer component, you can create and share custom 3D content easily, whether you want to showcase your models on the website or build interactive apps. This workflow is a powerful starting point. So happy modeling and coding. Okay, now that this tutorial is over, I just want to remind you that every day I do a live stream at 2 p.m. Eastern. You simply go to jambo.com and you go to the live submenu, which is in the watch menu, and you can see the topics for this and upcoming tutorials. You can see the date and times are also there. And also be sure to subscribe, like, follow, and leave comments. It really helps the channel grow and other people can find, and hopefully they decide to become either programmers or they can help out by finding issues with most of the open source applications or lifestyle. Okay, and I do also have some other resources. As you guys know, I am in a rural area, so I do use SpaceX Starlink for my internet connection. I also use it on the phone for Wi-Fi calling. Have you guys just heard a few seconds ago? Not a few seconds, a few minutes ago, I actually received, I believe, a text message. Yeah, I received a text message from a friend of mine. Yeah, so she was just wishing me happy Thanksgiving. That's what we're celebrating today in Canada. So that is also with Wi-Fi calling. You're still able to receive your MMS and CMS and obviously calls as if you're in a local area. So you can use Wi-Fi calling, you can use it anywhere in the world. As long as you have Wi-Fi, you'll be able to receive and send calls as if you're in your local, so restricted area for the cellular service. The reason I use it is because here the cellular service is spotty, just like the local internet. So that's why I use SpaceX Starlink, and it's been fantastic. It works like I'm doing a live stream right now. That's what I'm using, and it's been fantastic. And you guys know I've been that's been my primary internet, so it works fantastic. I also have another thing I'm pushing this year. Right now, it's called the algorithmic serpent. It's a so I forgot. I thought I was in the webcam. I didn't realize I'm using DroidCam. So there you go. It's called the algorithmic serpent. Oh, looks like it's upside down. Yikes! See, it's by Edo Jambo, and that's the back. See, this is a novelette. So it's about a scientist who creates the scientist creates an AI, and he loses control, so he has to regain control of not just himself but the system before it's too late. So this is, as I said, it's available on Amazon right now. It's in both ebook and paperback version. Obviously, I have the paperback version right now. I didn't realize DroidCam. That's weird. DroidCam. The name is kind of backwards there. Wow, look at that. That is weird. Do you guys know how to fix that so it shows it properly? I didn't realize it's like the name. It's a little bit backwards. It looks like I might need some type of filter so to rotate it so everything is fine. But there you go. It's available on Amazon as well. Okay, so with that said, I think I'll see you guys. I might do a live stream tonight. If I'm not too tired, I want to finish up some stuff outside. So yeah, I'll probably do one tonight. It'll probably be something with Blender. Maybe we can if you guys have any issues or anything with this, we can discuss this later tonight at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. Now, with that said, I'm going to check the live chat. I don't see any chat requests, so I'm going to end this live chat and the live stream, and I'll see you guys tonight at 8:30 p.m. Eastern and tomorrow at 2 p.m. Eastern. Have a